Bam. My peoples. My peoples. We gotta talk boxing. We gotta do it. It's Monday. I hope y'all enjoy your Easter weekend. But now it's time to talk boxing. Welcome to Box Center. I'm your host, Jay Smith, and we're gonna do what we do. Um, this is a major card. We gotta talk about it. Shakur Stevenson, Edgar Berlanga, Alberto Puello, and of course, David Morrell. All on the same card. Whoa. Whoa. And you have to take into account Shakur Stevenson is going to be finally fighting William Zepeda. We've been wanting that fight, and it's going to go down. And Edgar Berlanga, he's going up against Hamza Shiraz. Now, that's a fight that I want to see. I want to see how that plays out. Edgar Berlanga can make me a believer because I got to keep it real with y'all. You know, after the last few fights, I kind of been disappointed with Edgar Berlanga. And then, you know, with the way that he fought Canelo Alvarez, not because he lost. Anybody can lose on any given day. But the way that he lost. He looked like he was out there just to make it, just to try to go the distance, as opposed to actually trying to beat Canelo Alvarez. So Edgar Berlanga, you know, I'm iffy about him. If he could beat Hamza Shiraz, I'm a believer once again. Because I lost faith in Berlanga. And, you know, Alberto Puello is going to be defending his title. And he was in a heck of a fight in his last fight. If I'm not mistaken, it was a draw that, you know, a fight that he should have won. And, of course, David Morrell, who last fought against David Benavidez. And he lost that fight, but, you know, he gave Benavidez a heck of a fight. And I've been telling people, you know, David Morrell, I believe he will be a world champion. I believe that, you know, he is at that high level. Let's see, you know, he has a tough opponent ahead of him. But I'm a believer. Ozzy, do you see Ben Whitaker fight? I actually did not have the opportunity to see the fight, but I saw the replay. I saw him, you know, putting hands and feet on his opponent. And, you know, a lot of people say that the fight shouldn't have been stopped. But we all know when it comes to stoppages, it's up to the referee's discretion. But I got to say, man, this card right here, you know, with Shakur, with Edgar Berlanga, with Alberto Puello, who's a world champion, and then you add David Morrell to the card, that's a heck of a card, my peoples. We're going to see fireworks that night. Shaggy, happy Monday, my G. What's good? What's good, my brother? Ozzy, you got a lot of eyes on your channel now, bro. You know, people are surprised when they see it. They don't realize that, you know, some of the best fighters in the world, some of the best promoters have actually showed up to check me out. And some of them, you know, especially on Instagram, they check out my content, you know, all the time. So when the time is right, you know we're going to get in that door. It's only a matter of time. Angry Mexican, what up? What's the deal, my G? So what do you think about that card? Shakur Stevenson, Edgar Berlanga, Alberto Puello, and David Morrell, all fighting on the same card. Boxing needs this. See, I don't know if they're just being competitive with each other or what's going on, but this is great for boxing. Because think about it, right now, for Cinco de Mayo weekend, we're about to have Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Ryan Garcia. All three on the same card. And it looks like we're about to get the same thing. Another great card, which is now going to involve Shakur Stevenson and the rest of the fighters I mentioned. So I say, yo, boxing needs this. We need these type of cards where we have, multiple great fighters, multiple top level guys fighting on the same night. We need that. And then, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Devin Haney fighting on the same card. And the very next day, because that card is on a Friday, my peoples. The very next day, Canelo Alvarez gets to fight William Skull. That's going to be a fight that we're all looking for. And yeah, no, I'm calling all these fights. All these fights, I'm giving y'all the serious Box Center commentary. Angry Mexican. Hamza lost to Adames, in my opinion. So this is a big fight for him at 168, getting Berlanga. I agree with you, my brother. I felt like Carlos Adames won that fight. And you saw that there was that controversy with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh going to Hamza Shiraz's corner, letting them know that they were down on the scorecards. And, that looked kind of shady. Not kind of, it looked shady. Like, you're going to a side to give information, insider information, what appears to be, and then you also could influence the judges. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is arguably the most powerful person in the arena. When the judges see him favoring a fighter, that can affect, their input as to what happened in those last few rounds. So there was controversy there. Now, Hamza Shiraz, he's a very good fighter, top level guy. And Edgar Berlanga, I've been saying, I'm not a believer in Berlanga. Some of his last performances, I was just like, I don't know, man. He's not looking like he's one of the top guys. And the way he fought Canelo, come on. The way he fought Canelo is like Berlanga was there to survive, to make it through. To get a moral victory by saying, look, I went the distance with Canelo Alvarez. I didn't like that at all. I want to see a guy, if you lose, cool. But it's how you lose. I don't like the way Berlanga took that out to Canelo. Looked like he was just there to make it. So, I don't know. I think that Berlanga, he could make me a believer. If he's able to beat Hamza Shiraz, if he walks out of there with that W, he could make me a believer. You got to understand, though. Shiraz got a chip on his shoulder. He needs this win. And Berlanga, the same thing. Berlanga need that W as well to raise his profile. Ernest Morales. Morrell is amongst the top light heavyweights. He'll be champ again. A rematch with Benavidez could happen down the line. I think that a rematch with Benavidez can eventually happen. I think it can. Obviously, it's not going to be right away. But David Morrell, listen, I'm not from this era where a guy takes a loss and people start discrediting him right away and saying that they're not all that. Nah. I'm from the era where we see fighters for who they are, and win, lose, or draw, we understand the talent that they have. A loss is not going to change my mind on a fighter that I know has that high-level skill set. And David Morrell is one of them. So I expect, not that I believe, I expect David Morrell to become a world champion. Top-level fighter. And you saw the type of fight that he gave David Benavidez. He was there to fight. He wasn't. That's what I'm saying. It depends how you lose a fight. David Morrell did not lose the same way Edgar Berlanga lost to Canelo. He was out there fighting and giving David Benavidez a real good fight. Won some rounds, had some moments in that fight where it's like, oh, wait, he could win this. So, it's not the same. Angry Mexican. Are you high on Osley Iglesias at 168? Honestly, I haven't seen enough of him. I gotta see a little bit more to jump on the bandwagon or be like, nah, I don't know. So I need a little bit more time to give you an honest opinion, my brother. But I will say this card right here, these 4 fights, right after we're getting this card in Times Square, where we're getting, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez on the same card, that's fire. I'm liking what's going on with boxing. Bertha Gomez, I just got out of work. I live in California. Glad you're live. Bertha Gomez, salute to you. Appreciate you dropping in. Shout out to you and my peoples in California who have been showing love. So what do you think about this card? What do you guys think about this card? You know, Shakur Stevenson, Edgar Berlanga, Alberto Puello, and David Morrell, all on the same card. Shit. Love more Hinduism. Stevenson should headline. I'm a little bit confused about that because I've seen some images where it looked like Berlanga and Shiraz is gonna headline, but I'm also seeing some other images where it looks like Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda are gonna be the headliners. So I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure who's gonna headline that card. Ernest Morales. We all know that Turkey had his hands in that jive ass draw. It looked like it, you know, like he has something to do with it. Because most people who watched that fight saw Adames winning. And the moment you see that His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh is walking to a corner, talking to them, giving them advice on the points in the rounds, and he's losing, he got to pick it up, that's it. You put it all up for question. You know, did the judges see that? Of course they did. They sitting right by the ring. And they're seeing who Turkey favors in this fight. So, not a good look. Not a good look. Chucho, is Xander versus Fundora a done deal? It's not a done deal yet. It's only been announced that Xander is the mandatory, but no decision has been made from Fundora's team. They have not said we're going to take this fight. So we have to wait and see. I feel like Fundora's going to take it. I can't imagine Fundora is going to vacate the title to avoid this fight. That is a big fight. We're talking about Mexico versus Puerto Rico. There's history there. And I also think that, you know what? If you're Fundora, you take that fight now. Wow. While Xander Sayas is young. Because he's only going to get better. He's only going to get stronger. And you want to get him now and maybe you can walk out of there. Not maybe. Fundora's a top-level fighter too. So Fundora got a shot winning that fight. And I expect him to be the favorite, as a matter of fact. Angry Mexican, Shakur last opponent, Paddy looked good last night. Yeah, man, I seen that, bro. Josh Paddy looked good out there. And let's see, because, you know, now he's a full-time fighter, full-time training camp. We have to see now how he's going to be able to develop and how far he goes. Angry Mexican, can Shakur hands stand up to Zepeda's volume? I say Shakur wins by you. I got the same thing. In fact, I think Shakur might even make it look easy. This might be just like Shakur versus Oscar Valdez. I think it could play out like that. Just because, look, Zepeda, he's a very good fighter. He got power. He can fight. He's a pressure fighter. Zepeda has all of those as well. I mean, Oscar Valdez has all of those as well. But he's a flat-footed fighter. Tailor-made for Shakur. I see Shakur whooping that ass. I'm just being honest with you, my people. I see Shakur whooping him. Ernest Morales, the card is a fan's dream. I agree with you, my brother. All those fights are the type of fights that we want to watch, that we're going to enjoy. Love more Hinduism. Hope they ain't fighting for no turkey belt. You know, I don't think so. I honestly don't think so, but I guess we'll find out. Angry Mexican. Virgil deserves Fundora fight more. I can't agree with you on that one, my brother. And the reason I can't agree with you on that one is that, bro, Virgil only has one fight at 154. He only has one fight. And he wasn't a champion at 147. So if he just moved up to 154 and has one fight, and Xander Sayas been in that division, putting in that work, he deserves it more. That's my opinion, my brother. Love more Hinduism. Fundora is Cuban. Nah, Fundora is Mexican, brother. Fundora is Mexican. Ernest Morales. Shiraz is Turkey's mascot. I mean, that's what it looked like when he fought Carlos Adames. You know, I have people telling me that that wasn't the case, but that he's still biased because, you know, Adames is from Dominican Republic. He's Christian. And Hamza Shiraz is Muslim. So that may have also played a role in it. I don't know. That's only speculation. Ernest Morales, Shiraz is Turkey's mascot. They look that way, my brother. Chucho, Fundora, Mexican Cuban parents. Both Xander and Fundora both have holes in that defense. Gay Rivera, what's up, my brother? But Fundora is half Cuban. Got you, my brother. That's a fact. Chucho, Madre Mexicana y Padre Cubano. You know, I wonder how come it seems like maybe they grew up with their Mexican side, because it seems like they represent Mexico more than they represent Cuba. Y'all could tell me if I'm wrong, but that's my perception. Love more Hinduism, half Mexican, half Cuban. Do y'all think that they represent the Cuban side and the Mexican side the same, or do they represent more the Mexican side? Gay Rivera, yes, you're right about that. Like, I've seen them a lot, you know, with the Mexican flag when they go in the ring with I seen them with Mexican gear. I don't know that I've seen them representing Cuba like that. I don't know. Love more Hinduism. Boxing is more Mexican fan base. Javi, because Fundora mom boxed. Chucho, California. I feel you, California. That's Mexico right there. But again, my peoples, what do y'all think about just the state of boxing right now? Look at these cards. You know, in May, we're going to get, that's next week. Next week, my peoples, we about to get Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Devin Haney on the same card. And then later, the following day, we're going to get Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull. And then a little bit further down the line, we get Shakur Stevenson, Edgar Berlanga, William Puello, and David Morrell all on the same card. Boxing is treating us nice. Boxing is treating 2025 has been good for boxing. For the people that's always complaining, oh, nah, boxing is down. Boxing, like, man, y'all gotta stop y'all crybaby stuff. Boxing is doing great. Boxing is in a great state. And then we have all these young fighters coming up. Boxing is doing great, my peoples. Javi, boxing getting hot, my man. That's what I'm talking about. Boxing is getting hot. Hash Bash, which card is better, May 2nd or July 17th? Which one is July 17th? Is that the card that we're talking about right now? Which one is July 17th? But, my peoples, this is great for boxing. This is great for boxing. So which card is better? It's hard to say. It's hard to say which card is better. I think they're both going to be very good card. Now, throw in the June 21st card. Throw in the Tank Davis card. Because there you go once again, where you're in the class of hate for Shakur trying to compare cards. How about Tank's card? Is Tank's card for June 21st going to be better than Ryan Garcia's card on May or Shakur Stevenson's card in July? How about Tank Davis' card? That's in June. That's right in between those two. Is that card going to be better than those two? It's all up to opinion, my brother. But boxing is treating us nice. Angry Mexican. Not for the price. Well, you know, PBC can stiff their fan base because, you know, they tankomaniacs. They're going to pay whatever for whatever card. But I will tell you, my people, boxing has been incredible. And look, for those who don't support women's boxing, did y'all see the fight? Y'all see the fight this Saturday? My peoples, Sweet Poison is a very, very special fighter. She can fight. If you saw this fight, you can see the high caliber boxing that we're getting from the women. Gabriela Fundora defended her undisputed crown in beautiful fashion. Made her opponent quit. Made her opponent quit, my peoples. Come on now. Hash you must want to mention Shakur, and I didn't, but I can. Brother, You mention Shakur in every single live that I have ever done. You always mention Shakur, and you're already bringing up that card to compare it to the May 2nd card. That's what you do. But then you never want to answer about Tank Davis. Why do you always bring up Shakur in the card that he's on, but you never bring up Tank Davis in the card that he's on? Come on now, bro. Come on. John Parham, salute my brother. Ernest Morales, Subriel Matias is getting another shot. Listen, Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias is a heck of a fight. I want to see it. I want to see it, my peoples. Subriel Matias is finally gonna get back on the big stage, and I like. You see, when you're not following what's really going on, you don't understand the moves that people are making. But I think that they did a very good job with Subriel Matias because he took a beating, right? Was it Josh Taylor that put the beats on him to take his title from him? He took a beating, right? His following fight back was versus a lower level opponent. He watched him. And then the next fight was somebody that was a little bit better, but still not a high level type of guy. Watched him. So what they do with Subriel Matias after he took a nasty loss, they worked their way back up. Got his confidence back. Got him going. And now he's ready for another title shot. There's going to be a heck of a fight. And there's history there too. You're going to have the Dominican versus the Puerto Rican. There's some history there. That's going to be a heck of a fight, my peoples. Heck of a fight. Angry Mexican. 90 for 10 card or 90 for both Canelo Skull and Ron Rolly cards. Need I say more? Come on, Angry Mexican. Now you out here trying to preach. Javi, what you think about the upset of Bad News Conwell? Damn, man, I was disappointed. That was a very good fight. I could tell you that Conwell, I believe that he's going to be a champion. He lost now, and that's boxing. That's why I always tell people when a fighter loses, I don't automatically give up on him and start the narrative that, he's a hype job. Already somebody told me that he's a hype job because he lost. No, he was involved in a very tough fight versus a very good fighter who had height and reach advantages on him and was able to beat him. Now I gotta say, Jorge Perez, that's his name, Jorge Perez. He a heck of a fighter. And look at that. The guy has 4 losses. Jorge Perez, the guy that beat Bad News Conwell, he has 4 losses. So don't ever underestimate a fighter because the number of losses that they have on their record. Guy can be really, really good and have losses. And we just saw it right there. Now, I will tell you it was a very tough fight. It was a very close fight. There was a lot of swing rounds. I thought Conwell edged it out, but I knew that it was going to be close. I actually posted a video about that fight in the 3rd round. During the 3rd round, I posted a video like my people, they going to war early. A fight broke out early in that fight. But it was close enough to where I wouldn't say Conwell got robbed. I would say, a lot of swing rounds in that fight. A lot of rounds that I know were tough to score that could have went either way. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But it was a heck of a fight, and I would even like to see an immediate rematch. Angry Mexican, I'm cool with Turkey. Just don't involve yourself with fixing outcome of fights. And look, I like what Turkey is doing for boxing. I like the cards that he's putting together, the events that he's putting together. But don't get involved in the outcome, my man. We don't want to see that. JJ's in the house. Hello, J. Smith. I'm here. Let's hit the like button, everyone. What's up, JJ's in the house? Appreciate you, my brother. Y'all already know, my peoples. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We talking boxing. El fantasma de Geraldo Ledén. Manito, ¿qué lo que? What's the deal, my brother? Yeah. Leonard Council, Matias is the best. We're going to find out, my brother. Subriel Matias is going to be fighting Alberto Puello, and that's going to be a heck of a fight. That's going to be a heck of a fight, my brother. John Parham, Ben Whitaker fight was BS. Early stoppage, in my opinion. Listen, A lot of people hit me up and told me, yo, that stoppage was bull. That stoppage was like they wanted to make him look good. They wanted to give him an early stoppage. Damn, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. He goes down in the records as winning by knockout. That was the second round, right? But a lot of people have been saying that, though. A lot of people have been saying that. Chucho, Rolly is a walkover, getting a payday again, sparring partner. I mean, I wouldn't. Come on, I think you're going too hard on Rolly, and the reason I say that is because even though Rolly doesn't have the, I would say, the image of somebody who's a great boxer, but Rolly can fight, and he got power in both hands, and a power puncher. It takes one good one to change the outcome of a fight, and Rolly's always gonna have a puncher's chance versus everybody in the division. So we have to take that into consideration. Plus, Ryan Garcia is not a defensive guru. He's gonna get hit. Hash Bass. It's a shame that Shakur. I'm not gonna keep reading that, Hash Bass. You're a Shakur hater. When you talk about Tank, I could read that. But you're Shakur hate. I'm not even reading it. John Parham. Javi, I agree. Definitely rematch worthy. JJ's in the house. Any given night, someone can beat anybody. That's real talk. That's boxing. If you understand the sport of boxing, that's why we call it an upset. Because the guy that's supposed to win, that we all say is going to win, loses. We saw Tank Davis get his ass kicked by Lamar Roach, and we all expected Tank was going to knock him out. That's boxing for you. Love more Hinduism. Turkey and Dana White was at WrestleMania. Let me find out they're going to get down with wrestling. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Javi, I got Matias in the rematch. Let's see. Because before even talking about a rematch, we have to see how his fight is going to play out versus Alberto Puello. If he wins, he's going to become a champion. You got to win that fight, though. You got to win it. Angry Mexican. I actually thought Sandor Martin beat Puello. I hope Matias get it. That was a draw, right? Sandor Martin and Puello was a draw. That was a very close fight, though, man. That's one of those fights, too, where I felt there were some rounds that were hard to score. And when the last bell rang, I just didn't know. I didn't feel confident about, this person won or this person won. It was one of those fights where when the fight is over, you're like, damn. It could even be a draw. It could be a split decision. You're not sure what's going to happen. Hash Bass. I like Puello against Matias. Good fight. That's a heck of a fight. Puello versus Matias is a heck of a fight. Right now, honestly, I can't pick a winner for that fight. I can't make a prediction. And I got to say, my peoples, Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz on the same card, of course. I think if Edgar Berlanga is able to win, I'm back into believing in him. Because I lost faith in Edgar Berlanga, especially after his bullshit-ass fight versus Canelo Alvarez. I lost faith. Love more Hinduism. Rolly can pop. That's a fact. That's a fact, my brother. Angry Mexican. Rolly was one of the most sane at that round table interview. It's funny because Rolly, you never really know what you're going to get from him. Sometimes he's going to say something crazy, and then sometimes he's just going to be calm and collected. That's the way he is. Ernest Morales, garbage stoppage, ridiculous, and biased stoppage. My brother, a lot of people agree with you. A lot of people saying that. Like, why did they stop that fight? Did they just want to make him look good? Because you know what? Maybe he would have won anyways. Maybe, he would have stopped him in the 5th or the 6th round. But when it was stopped, it just didn't feel like it should have been. It just didn't look like it, Not a good stoppage. I think a lot of us agree with that. JJ's in the house. Don't look over anybody. That's a fact. You cannot overlook your opponents. D. Willer. What's good, OG? Kick that boxing knowledge. What's the deal, my brother? You know how we do it. You know how we do. We talking this real boxing stuff right here. So D Will, talk to me, man. What do you think about the state of boxing right now? We getting on May 3rd. We're getting Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez on the same card. Then the following day, we're getting Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull. Then the following month, we're getting Tank Davis versus Lamar Roach. Then in July, we're getting Shakur Stevenson, William Puello, Edgar Berlanga, and David Morrell all in the same card. Boxing is treating us nice. Boxing is looking out for us. 2025 is looking beautiful. Plus, by the way, if you saw Sweet Poison, Gabriela Fondora doing her thing on Saturday, she was amazing. For those who come on the live and tell me, nah, I don't really watch women's boxing like that. I'm not really, it's kind of boring. Bro, that's it. Come over to the other side and let's start supporting women's boxing because they giving us some real action. Love more Hinduism. I want to see Kermel Moton. Kermel Moton, the one thing about Floyd and the TMT team, they've been keeping Kermel active. So I'm expecting him to fight soon. I follow Kermel on IG. I got to see. He posts a lot. So I got to see what they up to. But, they have been keeping Kermel Moton active since he turned pro. And I expect that activity to keep going. JJ's in the house. Boxing is alive and kicking right now. I mean, we getting a lot of good fights. A lot. Because if you think about, the card in May with Ryan Garcia, Teofimo, and Devin, and then the following day, Canelo Alvarez is fighting. And Canelo Alvarez, we already know, he beats William Skull, and Terrence Crawford is next for September. We got Tank Davis rematch versus Lamar Roach. That's huge. Very, very anticipated rematch because we already know Lamar Roach put the hands on Tank Davis. We want to see how the rematch plays out. And then we got this card that was recently announced with Shakur and them. Damn, bro. What more can we ask for? D. Willer. This what us real boxing fans been begging for years. Hopefully, this make these guys stop caring about being undefeated. And that's what we need, my brother. We need to stop the narrative around being undefeated. If we go back to what boxing was when the golden era of boxing, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, bro, it wasn't about being undefeated. It was about the best fighting the best. And it's like we're building towards going back to that once again. We gotta have it. Hash Bash. Boxing been alive. Yo, boxing is doing it, man. We getting the fights. We getting great cards. Ernest Morales, boxing is making a comeback. Fights are happening. Yo, we getting some fights, man, like we need. And I think at this point, I don't even need to tell y'all that I'm going to be calling all these fights live. I hope I don't even need to tell y'all because y'all already know how I'm getting down when it comes to that. By the way, my peoples, I appreciate everybody to hit that like button. Listen to my brother John Parham. Hit that like button. Stop playing with me. Love more Hinduism. Heavyweights need some life. Yeah, the heavyweight division has been down. They've been down for a minute, to be honest. Shaggy, you have to fight to be undefeated. You have to be willing to lose in order to win. That's it. Wise words, my brother. And again, boxing should never be about being undefeated. It should be about the best fighting the best and see who wins. John Parham, Turkey putting jumper cables on boxing. That's a fact. That's a fact. Because if you think about it, this card happening with Ryan, Devin, and Teofimo, that's Turkey behind that. Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull, that's Turkey behind that. Shakur Stevenson, Edgar Berlanga, Alberto Puello, and David Morrell, that's Turkey behind that. The Bivol Better BF trilogy, Turkey is behind that. He making it happen. Can't knock him for that. LB Marshall, Box Center, the future channel. We coming, Papa. Que lo que, hit that like button, my people. You already know LB Marshall. This is where it's going to be at. This is the future #1 boxing channel. There's no getting around it. This is the inevitable. J. Ron, Matias doesn't have to fight under IBF rules this fight. I mean, listen, Subriel Matias is a guy who we could say he was a boogeyman. If you think about it, Subriel Matias, he was a boogeyman because a lot of people haven't wanted to fight him. He's finally going to get a title shot. And let's see if he wins. Because I'm going to tell you like this. The way he lost that fight, his stocks dropped a little bit. If you notice, his first fight back after losing was versus somebody we never heard of. His second fight back after losing was versus somebody we don't know like that. So, you know, they didn't just go right back to the top or right back to trying to get a rematch. They went to a rebuilding process. They went to the drawing board, got a couple of easy wins, build up that confidence, and now he's back for a title shot. That's going to be a good fight. Alberto Puello. Alberto Puello is a guy that can fight. Subriel Matias can fight. And he has that pressure to perform. Can you become a champion once again? We're going to see. We're going to find out. LB Marshall, Shakur is going to get a guaranteed $6 million facts. Turkey's the real Don King. Respect. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. And if you want to get Shakur, you're going to have to pay him. And his value is going to start, you know, going up and up and up. And the more haters he got, the more his value goes up. That's why I keep comparing the way I see Shakur's career playing out with Floyd Mayweather. I see a lot of similarities. I'm not talking about them two in the ring because there are some similarities between Shakur and Floyd inside the ring, but I'm talking about the way their career is playing out. I see it. D. Willer, what are your thoughts on the Shakur hand injury? I know that's your guy, and I was hoping to get a real take from a Shakur fan and not hater. I mean, we know that Shakur's hand's been hurt a couple of times already during matches. He actually was hurt when he showed up to fight De Los Santos. So we got to see how that plays out. I did see Shakur talking about it. He said, you know, when he fights, he got to give it time for his hands to heal. And he's probably going to fight 2 times a year to make sure that his hands are good. Other than that, I have to say Shakur has the skills to make the necessary adjustments and still win fights. We seen Floyd Mayweather hurt himself multiple times in fights, just like Shakur. And it's funny that I was just comparing them two. And Floyd Mayweather made the necessary adjustments. He's such a great boxer that he was still able to win with what they call brittle hands. I'm not sure if Shakur hands are in the same state that Floyd Mayweather's hands were, but we'll find out. We'll find out if he gets through the next fight without being injured or if he gets hurt again, and we can make an opinion about that. But I think that his hands are not going to stop him from beating everybody. J. Ron, Puello is going to be harder than Hitchens. TBH. Listen, Puello, he has that pressure style, that aggressive style. So I think Subriel Matias is the type of fighter that he likes to fight guys like that. He wants fighters to cooperate and stand in there and trade with him so he can land his big bombs. I think a fight is going to break out between Puello and Matias early, real early. They're going to start trading bombs. That's why I can't wait to call them fights, man. Now, who I got between Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello, I don't know yet, bro. I honestly don't know. And Shakur is an undercard legend. JJ's in the house. Bless you, Jay Smith. I like everyone getting involved. Let's talk boxing. That's what we do, my brother. We talking this boxing. And Pally, Artem. I mean, I don't know what is it that you're saying about Artem, brother. Ernest Morales. I hope all lose their O's. They're hurting the sport. I mean, listen, if all the top fighters faced each other consistently, the overwhelming majority will lose their O within the first year. Like if this same year we get a lot of the top fighters fighting each other and fighting the best, a lot of them will lose their O. And I think that's when a lot of boxing fans will find out, like, damn, it's true, yo, anybody could lose. That doesn't mean that you're not great. Because if we go by the mentality that new boxing fans have, then we will say, yo, Ali's a hype job, Sugar Ray Leonard's a hype job, Duran, Marvin Hagler, Joe Frazier, oh, they're all hype jobs because they lost. They lost multiple times, so they're not really all that. And it's not about that. It's not about losing. Losing doesn't mean that somebody isn't great. There's a lot of great fighters, and the overwhelming majority lost multiple times. So, if all these guys start fighting each other, some will stay undefeated, but the majority will take L's. And if you fight enough good fighters consistently, you take multiple L's. That's what happened, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s. All these great fighters were fighting each other consistently, so they took multiple L's just like that. It happens. Ernest Morales. Paro has the style that will make this fight a great one. Who's Paro fighting? Who's Paro fighting? Because I'm not sure who he's fighting next, my brother. But again, my peoples, the boxing is doing amazing. A lot of fights to look forward to. A lot of big fights. That's why I'm saying, damn, think about it. Next week, we're going to get Ryan Garcia. We're going to get Devin Haney. We're going to get Teofimo. And the following day, Canelo Alvarez is going to be fighting. Shortly after that, the following month in June, we got Tank Davis with Lamar Roach. That rematch is going to be crazy. The following month after that, we got Shakur Stevenson, Alberto Puello, Edgar Berlanga. And who else? Who else is in that fight? And David Morrell is in that card. Come on, man. We got mad boxing coming up. JJ's in the house. Why can't a champion not have 2 losses, or he beats whoever, he has to win a belt? I mean, to be honest, I don't look at that, my brother. Look at Conwell. Look at Charles Conwell, my people. He just lost for the first time. Took his first out. And I already have people saying that he's a hype job. Oh, yeah, he another hype job. Like, what are you talking about? Damn. Somebody lose, that's it? They're a hype job? My response was, you don't know shit about boxing. God damn. Nah, man. Somebody losing doesn't mean that they can't fight, that they're a hype job, that they're a bum. That's crazy work. JJ's in the house. I have to put some money on Roach. I think I might put a little money on Roach too, my brother. Because I tell you what, after that fight, after Tank Davis and Lamar Roach, I honestly felt like Lamar Roach got his number. We're going to find out. I could be wrong. We're going to find out. But we saw how that fight played out. Lamar Roach was able to frustrate Tank in a way that we've never seen him before. You see how Tank fans was talking about, oh, Tank just wasn't the same. He wasn't focused. Like, Tank fans was getting inside his head to determine that he wasn't focused. Like, how do we even watch a boxing match and determine that a guy's not focused? We not there. We not talking to him. We just decide that he's not focused. Like, how? Like, are you a sidekick to understand somebody's level of focus? What I saw in Tank Davis versus Lamar Roach is that Lamar Roach was outworking him, was frustrating him, had him acting out of character. And that's why he didn't look the same. When you're used to seeing somebody knocking everybody out, and then comes this dude that's putting all type of hands on you, of course you're not going to look the same. Of course. We used to watch you knocking people out. JJ's in the house. Roach took his punch like nothing. I mean, Roach was able to take his punch, but Tank Davis never landed that. You know that punch that you don't see coming? That he's knocked out a lot of people with that shot. If you look at Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, if you look at Tank Davis versus Rollies, if you look at Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, they all got hit with that punch they didn't see coming. That counter left shot. Boom! And that's all she wrote. Lamar Roach did not get hit with that punch once. And a lot of times when Tank Davis actually counter punched him, Lamar Roach was able to roll with the punch. Meaning he took it, but he also moved his head. And didn't, eat that punch flush like that. So, Lamar Roach and his team, they had a perfect game plan for Tank Davis. They executed, and I think they showed the blueprint to actually beat Tank Davis. But we already know Tank Davis is one of the best in the division. Tank Davis is a special fighter. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to tell you that, Tank Davis is overrated because Lamar Roach beat the shit out of him in that first fight. Tank Davis is a top-level fighter. And we don't know what type of adjustments he's going to make for that rematch. Ernest Morales, great fighters were not about losing. It's about who he lost to. They usually have rematches 2 months later. Man, before it was like, if it was close, it's a mandatory rematch. They're going to do it right there back to back, and it's going to be within a short time frame. Unless, of course, somebody got hurt really bad and they got to heal, injuries or whatever. But we're going to get a rematch with Tank Davis and Lamar Roach. That's for sure. We're going to get that rematch. Let's see how it plays out. I already told you guys my take. I feel like Lamar Roach got his number. And I feel like he's going to win that fight. And we already know for Lamar Roach to beat Tank Davis on the cards, he's got to beat him in a real convincing fashion. Convincingly. He's not going to get no split decision in his favor. He's not going to get a decision in his favor if the fight is close. He's got to beat him. Got to put all type of hands on Tank Davis. Which he did that in the first fight. But now he knows he got to do it more. More of that. JJ's in the house. Tank took a long time to do the rematch. Someone got in his ear. Listen, supposedly, and I say supposedly because I don't know this for a fact, but supposedly Al Heyman was trying to convince Tank to not do the rematch and instead try to pursue a fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. That was reported. I don't know if that's the case, but apparently his own team didn't want to do that rematch, and eventually they decided to do it. And the pressure is on Tank. I've been telling y'all, the pressure is on Tank. Lamar Roach already did the damage. He already did the damage with that first fight because a lot of people saw him winning it. So Tank Davis has a chip on his shoulder. He's got to get out there and perform. And I don't think that he's got to win by knockout. Although I see Lamar Roach as the better boxer. So I do think he got to knock Roach out. But Tank Davis is the type of fighter, he got the ring IQ. He got the boxing skills that he could win either way. He could make the right adjustments and win on the cards. Although I don't see it. I just don't see it. I feel like for Tank Davis to beat Lamar Roach, he's going to have to knock him out. While Lamar Roach can cruise to a 12-round decision, get that victory more convincingly than he got the last one because he got robbed. Tank Davis got gifted that draw. Let's see how the rematch plays out. Now, I will say, think about this, my peoples. Tank Davis is fighting in June. I think... Oh, no, wait a minute. That was pushed back. Tank Davis is not fighting in June. They said they're pushing it back. I don't know if it's July or August or when, but they're pushing it back. It's not happening in June. But Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson will be fighting right around the same time. I like that. Because if they fight right around the same time, I know Shakur is gonna call him out after his fight. But it means that they will be in a good time frame to actually fight each other next if they both win. We could be talking about Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis for the end of the year. Could happen. Shakur's fighting in July. So he's fighting in July. July, August, September, October, November. By November, him and Tank Davis could be mixing it up. JJ's in the house. I don't want to talk bad about Loma, but he is past his prime there. He goes again, Tank cherry picking. I mean, listen, we've seen the inactivity with Lomachenko, and you know I think he has the right to take a break. Say, listen, I want to take a break. I've been through a lot. You know that he was involved in the war with Ukraine, and then he came out, fought again, fought Devin Haney, then fought again after that, won a title. So it's okay. Lomachenko's 37 years old. I respect him for wanting to take a break, but I think most of us know that Lomachenko and Bob Arum, they pushed to fight Tank Davis like 6 years ago, bro. Like 6 years ago. 5 years ago. They lasted a couple years pushing for that fight. And Floyd Mayweather's on video saying, nah, listen, you know, Tank Davis, we not in a hurry. Lomachenko's getting old. He's in a hurry to fight us. We're in no rush. Now they want to fight 37-year-old Lomachenko. So it's like, yeah, that looks like a cherry pick. Now, I gotta say, if Lomachenko can step in there in the best shape of his life, I believe he got the skills to beat Tank Davis. Don't get it twisted. If Lomachenko can step in there in the very best shape of his life, I give him a shot. Because you gotta take something into consideration, my peoples. Lomachenko is one of these fighters who's a true athlete. And what I mean by that, you don't see him drinking, you don't see him partying, you never seen a picture of a fat Lomachenko. None of that. This guy takes care of his body. So this break that he's taking from boxing, you best believe that he's not out there, you know, getting drunk, getting high, partying every night. He's not doing none of that. This guy's taking care of himself. So because of that, I give him a chance to be able to step in the ring and still be in great shape. I'll give him a chance. I'm not sure Tank Davis is going to get out there and wash him. Lomachenko, well, nobody's been able to wash Lomachenko. It's not like he's out there getting beat up. The fight with Devin Haney, y'all saw that fight. That was a heck of a fight. JJ's in the house, exactly. On point, Jay Smith. Appreciate it, my brother. Love more Hinduism. Loma wanted that smoke. Yo, Lomachenko tried to get that fight with Tank Davis for a couple of years, and they wasn't trying to make it happen. So now they want 37-year-old Lomachenko. They aged him out. This is a perfect example of aging a fighter out and trying to catch him at the tail end of his career, when you could have fought him 5, 6 years ago. And the thing is, if you think about it, Tank Davis is 36 years old. I mean, 36. Tank Davis is 30 years old. At 30 years old, that means 5 years ago he was 25. So Lomachenko was trying to fight a prime Tank Davis that was, of course, knocking everybody out. It's not like he caught Tank Davis at 18, 19, 20. Tank was 25. Even at 26, they was trying to fight him. That's your physical peak right there. Ernest Morales, Roach is going to have to win at least 8 rounds. I'm following the money in this one because the Tank versus Shaq has to happen. I mean, we all want to see Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson, but you got to understand, my brother, if Tank don't want it to happen, it's not going to happen. So it might as well be Lamar Roach. JJ's in the house. Lomas is selling his house in LA, $2.5 million. I wonder if we could read into that. Is he moving to a different state? Or is he just going back to the Ukraine? What is Lomachenko going to do? But I want to see, listen, I want to see Lomachenko fight one of the top dogs. Get back in the ring. We got to take this into consideration. If Lomachenko is going to fight Tank Davis, he has to do it soon. At 37 years old, you're at the tail end of your career. You're 7 years older than Tank Davis. He already aged you out. You can't wait till you're 39 or 40 to fight Tank Davis. You got to do it soon if he's going to do it. Ernest Morales, Loma can pull a surprise. He is the ultimate professional. I agree with you, my brother. I agree with you 100%. Lomachenko is a very special fighter. And on any given day, I believe he could beat anyone. The only fighter I don't think Lomachenko could beat is Shakur Stevenson. Which, by the way, Bob Arum tried to make that fight. Lomachenko ain't want to hear it. That's so you can see the difference. Lomachenko has been wanting to fight Tank Davis. Been wanting to get that fight. But he never wanted to fight Shakur. Both of them was with top rank. That was an easy fight to make. Lomachenko didn't want no parts of Shakur. Yet he wanted to fight Tank Davis. It's a lot of guys. That's why I tell y'all. It's not, that take is not from the perspective of a fan. It's from the perspective of an analyst. And I'm telling y'all, a lot of the best who want to fight Tank don't want to fight Shakur. I think that's very telling. If you really analyze it, no bias, no, this is my guy and that is my guy, none of that involved. Just analyze. Why do all these guys want to fight Tank, but they don't want to fight Shakur? There's a reason for that. They know. They know they're going to take that out if they fight Shakur. Love more Hinduism. He could make Tank say no mas. I mean, he did frustrate him a lot in that first fight. We got to see how this second fight plays out. We got to see it. I don't think he could knock him out, but can he frustrate him enough to make him quit? You never know. He made him take a knee. He made him lie about grease in his eye. We don't know how that rematch is going to play out. JJ's in the house. Father Time, wait for nobody. Sad to say. That's the reality. That is the reality. Now, the one thing we have to understand, though, Father Time don't wait nobody, but fighters who have a certain level of skill can push Father Time further. You know, we saw Manny Pacquiao beat undefeated Keith Thurman at 40 years old. We saw George Foreman at 40-something win a title. So we've seen performances where fighters can push back the hands of time and tell Father Time, hold on, let me do this real quick. But we got to see. We got to see where Lomachenko is going to be at when he comes back. Wes, what up, brother? Hope you good. Appreciate it, my guy. Hope you good as well. We talking boxing, man. Boxing has been amazing for us in 2025. We getting this smoke. We getting these fights. Next week, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. A month after that, Tank Davis. Well, the following day after Ryan Garcia and gang do their thing, Canelo Alvarez. A month after that, Tank Davis, Lamar Roach rematch. A month after that, Shakur Stevenson, Alberto Puello, Edgar Berlanga, and David Morrell, all fighting on the same card. We're getting a lot of boxing this year, my people. We getting it. We getting that action, my people. I'm excited about the sport of boxing right now. Wes, some good fights coming up. That's a fact, my brother. That is a fact. And then this Saturday, by the way, I've been saying it. I said it earlier on this live. We saw Gabriela Fondora, a.k.a. Sweet Poison, a.k.a. No Mas, make her opponent quit. What a beautiful performance from Gabriela Fondora. Did y'all see that fight? This girl let them hands go in beautiful fashion. That's all I could tell you about that. What a stoppage. And with the ladies, when you only got 2-minute rounds and you got 10 rounds, it's harder for them to get the stoppage. It's harder. And Gabriela Fondora has been on a tear, putting the Swiss, the Dre, and the Apple beats on her opponents. What a beautiful fight. Love More Hinduism. We need Jay Smith on the zone. I'm waiting for the zone to give me a call. They know my number. And Eddie Hearn know how to find me. He be checking out my videos. Yo, Eddie Hearn, it's time. The people have been calling for me to go over there and call them fights the way they need to be called. Holla at me, Eddie Hearn. Yeah. Love More Hinduism. She get it from her brother. Yo. Listen, I'm going to tell you like this. Gabriela Fondora is a fighter who I don't see anyone in her division beating her. Nobody's going to beat her in that division. You got to understand. She fights at 112 and she's 5'9". She could bite them girls up from across the ring. So, Sweet Poison and the Tower Inferno, both of them are champions. Sweet Poison is an undisputed champion. Bro, that brother and sister combination, they both special. They special fighters. And, that's why when people tell me, nah, I don't watch women's boxing, because it's boring and it's, I don't really watch it. I just be like, bro, just go watch that shit and give it a shot. Don't just have this preconceived notion in your mind that it's going to be boring, so I'm not going to watch it, because you're missing out on some great boxing. The women is doing their thing, my peoples. And Alicia Baumgartner is going to be fighting soon. And when she fights, it's going to be fireworks. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, they're going to do what they do. That's going to be fireworks. Support women boxing, my peoples. That's not back in the days where women look whack out there. Women was just doing rock'em sock'em robots. Nah, these women can fight. You could see the ring IQ. You could see the technical aspect. You could see them letting their hands fly. Support women's boxing, my people. I'm trying to tell you. But again, there's, we're getting some cards in boxing that are just special. We're getting a lot of good fights. Back to back to back. A lot of good cards. And like I said earlier, Edgar Berlanga, I haven't really been messing with him like that. I lost faith. I lost faith in Edgar Berlanga. Let me keep it 100 with y'all. The way I seen him performing, nah. And the way I saw Edgar Berlanga fight Canelo Alvarez, where he was just out there to survive. Aris, yeah, man, what's the deal? Edgar Berlanga fought Canelo like he was just trying to survive. Nah, that wasn't it right there for me. Now, he will be fighting Hamza Shiraz. If Edgar Berlanga can beat Hamza Shiraz, he could turn me into a believer again. I'll start believing again if he could beat this guy. Hamza Shiraz can fight. Even though he got gifted that draw versus Carlos Adames, we got to call it how we see it, but he can fight. If Edgar Berlanga can get past him, now we talking again. He back in business. Love More Hinduism. Me too, he not that guy. I'm telling you, Edgar Berlanga, man, I've been lost faith in him. I expect Shakur Stevenson to walk through William Zepeda. Walk through him. And William Zepeda can fight, undefeated fighter. Good resume. But I feel like, his style is perfect for Shakur. Flat-footed fighter who's going to put that pressure on. This might even be Shakur versus Valdez all over again. And Shakur might even make it look easy. But Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz, let's see if Edgar Berlanga is going to make us a believer once again. And of course, Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias. I'm telling you, my peoples, a fight is going to break out early for that one. It's going to break out early. Subriel Matias got a chip on his shoulder. He's getting another shot at a title. The way he lost his title, you know he took a beating, got his ass whooped, if we keeping it real. Had 2 fights to build him back up, got that confidence going, won by stoppage in both of those fights, and now he's back on for a title shot. Let's see if Subriel Matias can pull off the W, grab another belt, and his stock is going to go right back up. Let's see it. We got to see it, my peoples. And of course, David Morrell. David Morrell got a chip on his shoulder. He lost to the Mexican Monster. Now we got to see, can David Morrell, win his next fight and keep climbing his way up to a title shot. I'm somebody who's been telling y'all, David Morrell, he's an elite level fighter. He has that Cuban style of boxing, and I believe that he will be a world champion. I'm a believer in David Morrell. My peoples, I'm about to end this live, but before I do, as always, I want to give a shout out. My brother John Parham, Love More Hinduism, Aris, West, JJ Zendejas, Ernest Morales. Who else came through, show some love? Hash Bass, M, and everybody, D Willer, my brother, LB Marshall, and everybody else who showed up. I appreciate you, my peoples. I'm about to get the hell out of here. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm y'all boy Jake Smith. This is Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. I'ma see y'all tomorrow, and we're gonna talk boxing, my peoples. Y'all already know it. Salute. Bam. And peace out, yo.